throw. This is a phenomenal throw in practice. So he's got arm talent, number one. Number two, he's got a coach, Brandon Staley, who coached me in Chicago. He also coached the number one defense in LA last year. Brandon Staley coaches defense from an offensive perspective. He's going to get Justin Herbert ready to ball.
Man, can't watch that. I can watch that throw all day. Jeff, who gets more rushing TDs, Nick Chubb or Zeke Elliott?
I'm going Ezekiel Elliott, and not because I don't love Nick Chubb. Chubb's going to have to share some with Hunt. So when you look at that, it's going to go kind of back and forth with those guys. They're going to feed Zeke. Believe this, their offensive line, they got 3 returning starters coming back on that offensive line, Martin, Collins, and Smith. They're going to be feeding Zeke, getting him back in the fold. I think he has the most touchdowns by a running back.
And Zeke's got a lot to prove, especially after last season. He looks ready.
Yes,
now
sir.
let's get back to Cleveland. Adam Schefter reporting Saturday that the Browns star running back Nick Chubb reached an agreement on a 3-year contract extension. Chubb has averaged 5.2 yards per carry in his 3 seasons in Cleveland. And look who's got his back. Chubb's quarterback Baker Mayfield letting his feelings be known. Nicholas Jamal Chubb. Teammates love you when you're getting paid like that. That Chubb extension is huge. But let's focus in on the guy who's looking to get paid, Baker Mayfield. Would you pay him now or wait? Adam, what's the latest on Baker and the Browns and whether or not they're going to do a deal with him?
Well, listen, Ryan, here's the deal. We've got Baker Mayfield up for a new deal, Josh Allen up for a new deal, Lamar Jackson up for a new deal, and none of those quarterbacks at this time are currently close to getting a new deal. And if you're Baker Mayfield or you're any of those quarterbacks, why would you want to do a deal right now when the salary cap is going to be rising the way that it will in the next couple of years? These are quarterbacks, again, who have 5th-year options. So they are eligible right now, but they don't have to do a new deal right now. None of them are close to getting a new deal done. And yes, they all want to keep those quarterbacks, those respective teams. The Browns want to keep Mayfield. The Bills want to keep Allen. The Ravens want to keep Jackson. They will keep them. That's the goal. But there just not is any rush right now to get a deal done with any of them. And I don't see a quarterback deal getting done anytime soon.
And even back in June, Adam, Baker Mayfield said he's in no rush to get a deal done, that he's going to focus on what's happening on the field. But, Sam, I ask you, here's the thing. It's yes, they want to keep him. The question is, how much do they pay him? Would you pay him now, Sacho, or would you wait?
I would definitely wait. I need Baker Mayfield to show me again what you showed me towards the last half of last year, that you can lead our team to the playoffs, lead our team to a playoff victory, and hopefully even lead our team to the Super Bowl. Yes, Shefty said it best. The salary cap will be rising. In negotiations when it came to COVID, the salary cap got cut a little bit, and everyone understood that. People took pay cuts. People got released. And so Baker, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson all should be waiting because they are the next in line. Once that salary cap jumps next year, and if Baker leads his team to the playoffs again like he did last year and plays like we all expect him to play, he's due for a huge payday. And I would pay him like the top-tier quarterback he is once he proves it.
Once he proves it being the key. So, Jeff, you talked earlier today when we spoke that he's got to prove it as well, but you need to see growth from him.
Yeah.
What does growth look like for Baker Mayfield for him to get paid like a top 10 or a top 5 quarterback?
All right, so you know they're bringing OBJ back this season. He's coming off an injury. I want to see him to continue to run the offense like he did last year when OBJ is back on the field. What does that mean? Alex Van Pelt, their offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, their head coach and play caller, understanding OBJ is just another piece of this offense. He's a very explosive piece, but I'm not just going to try to feature him. I'm going to allow this offense to take care of itself. We're going to run the ball effectively. I'm going to use Landry. I'm going to use my tight end. I'm going to use my running backs out of the backfield. Develop the offense and continue to grow. Here's the thing about Baker Mayfield. He gets kind of a bad rap. He played really well his first year, big dip his second year. He's had, 3 or 4 head coaches? How many offensive coordinators? Like, Cleveland was in chaos, man. Now they have Andrew Berry, the general manager. Stefanski's the head coach. I think you're going to see a steady rise in Baker Mayfield, and I think he gets paid as such. I'm in agreement with Sam. He plays well this year. You pay him like a top-tier quarterback because this is a guy who's going to lead you to the AFC Championship and potentially a Super Bowl with the pieces and parts around him on this football team.
this is easily one of the most talented teams in the NFL. He plays well, and it really is possibly a Super Bowl year for this team. All right, let's move to another team that hopes their quarterback makes a big leap this season. Philadelphia Eagles. All eyes are going to be on Jalen Hurts and whether he makes that big second-year leap. Now, over the weekend, Eagles coach Nick Sirianni talked about what he saw out of Hurts in practice. Listen to this.
Yesterday in the red zone practice, I saw some really great throws, like big time throws. So just want to continue to cut out any mistakes that he's making and continue to make those plays that he's making and just see how special he is with the ball in his hands.
That's big. Now, keep in mind, this is a team that has not yet committed to Hurts as a starter. It's still an open competition between him and Joe Flacco. Sacho, I start with you. Are we underestimating the Eagles? Because right now in this division, I think a lot of people are picking them to come in last.
Yeah, add me to the list of people who are picking them to come in last. We're not underestimating the Eagles. If you have a head coach who comes in and says there's an open quarterback competition with Joe Flacco, all due respect, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl 10 years ago. What would you say? What gives you evidence to give an open competition with Joe Flacco? I don't get it. And so I'm not really scared if I'm a football fan, player, coach of Nick Sirianni. He doesn't intimidate me. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about Bill Belichick. I'm worried about Bruce Arians. I'm even worried about a guy like Brandon Staley, young and upcoming. When I'm game planning and planning against Nick Sirianni, I'm not worried about that matchup. Commit to your quarterback. Commit to Jalen Hurts. He's got some weapons in Devontae Smith. Let him lead your team. There's no competition. It does not need to be an open competition. Give him the keys, man. Give this dude the keys.
Yeah, Adam, go ahead. Adam, it is interesting. I look at this and I say, you got Jalen Hurts, you got rid of Carson Wentz. You're in this position now, you're riding with him, and yet the statement seems to be, hey, we're going to have a competition for the job. Why? What are the Eagles doing with Jalen Hurts? How are they hoping to develop him?
It's just a statement. That's all it is. It's a new coach coming in, trying to set a new tone. Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback, okay? Let me tell you right now, we don't have to go through any competition during the summer. It's just the coach saying that there's going to be competition at every position, including quarterback, Jalen Hurts, Joe Flacco. We all know how that's going to turn out this summer. Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting quarterback. And when we talk about the Eagles, what's interesting to me is that 1 year ago, we were all talking about this team being the best team in the division, the best team in the NFC East, the deepest roster. And then the Eagles had an awful season, and everything seemed to blow up. But I don't think they're as bad as people think. I think they're probably a little bit closer to the team we were talking about 1 year ago than the team that we're resigning to the basement of the NFC East right now.
Jeff is shaking his head no. Go ahead, Jeff, jump in.
Listen, I appreciate what Adam said. I totally agree with what he said about the quarterback. And Acho, man, as a coach comes in, you got to say everybody's job is up, man. Let's go fight for jobs. Let's increase competition. Everybody wants it. We all know Hurts is going to be the guy. But where I totally disagree with Adam is this is going to be the bottom of the NFC least. This is not a good football team. It doesn't matter if Jalen Hurts was a quarterback, Carson Wentz a quarterback. Hey, this is on Howie Rose. This team I do not think is going to be a very good football team. I think the Washington football team is better. I think the Cowboys are better. So to have these great expectations, I think you're fooling yourself. I think if you're the Eagles, you want to see the progression of Jalen Hurts. You want to see that he's going to be the guy that's going to lead your football team in the future. So now you can begin to build around him. But great expectations are going to lead to some hurt feelings if you're an Eagles fan. Fly, Eagles, fly, but understand that 500 is the mark they're shooting for, baby, and be happy with it.
Oh, man.
Jeff, let me push back a little bit.
Seconds. Go ahead,
because you played with some great quarterbacks. There was no competition in Indy. I played with some great quarterbacks, and I'm not saying this is Peyton Manning. I'm not saying that. But when I was in Arizona in 2013,